Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. I'm your host. My name is Steve Mascord. This is Midweek Scoops, and if you're listening on rugbyleaguelongreads.com, welcome. For the second time this week, we're going to have a chat with the very experienced, I'm not going to say veteran or old, experienced rugby league journalist based in Sydney on the beautiful northern beaches now, Tony Adams. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, doing well, Steve, and all set for the finals in about 72 hours from now. So there's a real air of excitement. 8 teams, and for the first time in a long time here in the NRL, there's no real clear favourite. Probably 5 of the 8 teams could win it. So it's going to be a fascinating final series.
Indeed, now, but we're going to shift our attention to a team who missed out on the playoffs because Newcastle conceded a shed load. I said shed load of points, and they someone is walking a kilometre for every point they conceded. Is that right?
Well, he's running, Steve. His name's Dan Nielsen. He's a nice tragic. I don't know if he'll be running this week because they got beat 66-10. So he runs only by the points differential. So he doesn't have to run 66 kilometres. He has to run 56. And I spoke to him today, and he's sort of trying to break it up. Normally, if they only lose by 10, he'll do it in one go. He's a fireman. He's very fit. 29-year-old. He played in the local Newcastle comp, but I don't think in his wildest dreams he expected them to get beat 66-10 and pick up the wooden spoon. So he's been doing a lot of running, and he said, like the players, he'll be very glad when the season's over because he can put his feet up and relax. But he's done some of it for charity, and an unusual story, but I thought it's nice to give the wooden spooners some sort of a mention, even though it's probably not the most positive one. Dan's looking at it half glass full way. He's convinced they'll be better next year, and who knows, they may well be.
So Cody Ramsey, this story is kicking around that he had a life-threatening disease, and he's made a comeback, and he can't get a work visa in England because he hasn't played enough NRL in recent years. But the rules have been relaxed, so that you can now play in Super League or Championship with Queensland Cup or New South Wales Cup experience. So maybe there's a bit of a disconnect here between what was understood to be the case in Australia and what is actually the case here now. But while you talk about Cody Ramsey, I'll write it right here in live time. I'll do a little bit of research about the new visa regulations. But tell us about him.
Yeah, you get Google out, and I'll give the background. Cody got a very serious disease called ulcerative colitis, a potentially fatal bowel disease. He had to have a lot of his bowel cut out. He was only 22 years old, so, very rare. He spent a long time in hospital, a long time doing rehab. And after 900 days, he came back this year in New South Wales Cup, which is like reserve grade. He had a very good season. He led the New South Wales Cup. He's a speedy fullback. Led the New South Wales Cup in running meters and line breaks, assists, and his St George team finished in the top 4 and actually playing this weekend. But the Dragons aren't offering him a contract for next year, so he's looking at his options. He'd prefer to stay here, get a train and trial deal, but if that doesn't work out, his manager tells me he's going to try getting a start over in the UK. What did Dr. Google say, Steve?
Well, yeah, so it's 10 players per club now, and there are a number of Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup players coming over next year. So there would be a minimum number of games he would have had to play in those competitions as well. So I guess it might come down to how many games he's played.
Fair enough. Okay.
But we'll find out more, and maybe on our next show we'll bring in more information. In fact, we might put in a call to the RFL and see if he actually his situation is a bit more optimistic than maybe he thinks it is. But And we will remind us, viewers and listeners, remind us to do it for the next week. We must do it. We're making a commitment to do it. Okay. Now, in this show, we always like to come up with a name that you haven't heard before, a star of the future. And we reckon that if you Google the next Australian captain's name in 10 years, maybe the first time he ever got mentioned was on this channel. So to that end, tell us about Cameron Canan. Cameron Canan.
That's right. Well, the poor old West Tigers, they just can't seem to keep many of their best young kids. And would you believe the Panthers, premiers 4 years running, have signed Cameron Canan. He's a 20-year-old fullback, started the year in the Flag Cup and got a taste of New South Wales Cup where you play against grown men and didn't look out of place for a 20-year-old string bean. And Dane Laurie, who was the fill-in fullback at Penrith when Dylan Edwards was on origin duty or injured, looks like he's moving on. So the Penrith backup, shall we say, could be Cameron Canan next year. Who knows? Let's watch this space. Next season he'll be 21. He'll have a full off season with the Panthers. So, yeah, an interesting character.
That's it for Midweek Scoops this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please tell your friends about the channel. Leave some suggestions, what you'd like to have us talk about. We've got these new shows which are known in the trade as timeless, which means that they don't date like some blokes joining some club next year. So we'd really like to hear your thoughts on what we should cover in that area. But Tony, until next time.
Actually, Steve, one item must have fallen off the internet because this will interest your crowd over there. Elliot Whitehead, favourite son of Canberra, played at Catalan last season, getting strong mail that he might be going back to the Canberra Raiders. Not as a player, but on the coaching staff. They love him in Canberra. He played 200 games for the Green Machine. I know he was born in Bradford, but he's considered a Canberran, for the want of a better word. And Ricky's very keen to get him on board. So watch out for that one in coming weeks.
That's a good line. Great. Okay, see you next week.
Okay.